Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello. How are we all? Hello, how are we? We are. Hello. Yeah, we're playing something different. It's Saturday. I thought we'd play something a little bit different. We're taking a break today from Siberia, and we're going to play Sherlock Holmes. Instead, we're going to solve a mystery. Yeah, I hope some of you might join in. That'd be good. Before I do anything else, let's just there we go. Whack in the Discord if you'd like to join our community Twiki. Please click the link and join in. But yes, today we're playing something a little bit different. We're playing Sherlock Holmes, Consulting Detective, The Case of the Mummy's Curse. Now, little thing about these games, I haven't played them since I was at secondary school. So it's been a while. I remember them being really, really good, or just okay. I don't remember. I just remember playing them. Usually on a wet day, if it was horrible outside, I'd just sit in the library and I'd be playing these. Yes, I used to sit in the library. Shut up, leave me be. But yeah, this is what I used to play, and I did enjoy them. So I thought I would play them. They've been sitting in my Steam library for probably a fair few years now, since at least 2021. At the moment, I think I've got the first three. I think I'm missing one. That's still on Steam and I need to get. So I'm gonna try and make my way through them. We're just gonna see how we get on, and if we enjoy them, we'll play more. But yeah, let's see how it goes today. And I think what we'll do is we're gonna start the game. But I think what we'll do is we'll go through all the bits that we've got. Excuse me, hitting my mic. We will go through everything before we start the game. We shall play. We shall do all the bits. We shall click on all the things. It's right, my mouse is a little bit off. My mouse does not like to play. It's being a bumhole. Cool. That's what we like. Alright, there we go. That seems a bit more better. That seems a bit more comfortable for me. Alright, let's do the Holmes' introduction, shall we? Let's do it.
London is not a beautiful city. Under the soot that covers its buildings is a teeming mass of 4 million souls trying to survive, mostly off of each other. You see it in the paper every day. Thankfully, we have the London Times to keep us informed of all these troubling activities with an unbiased eye and razor-sharp accuracy. We find this publication to be of invaluable assistance in our investigations, and I'm sure you will as well. Among the forces of evil which run rampant in this city, there are also, thankfully, two groups of individuals who will aid us in our cause. As we do, they attempt to right wrongs and restore harmony and civility to the streets of London. The first of these groups is a ragtag association of young ruffians. I call them the Baker Street Irregulars. Don't let them fool you. They may be scruffy and ill-bred, but they are on the right side of the law. They can go everywhere, see everything, and overhear everyone. They are my eyes and ears in the streets of London, unquestionably a tremendous asset in our work. They will help us in our investigations if they can. The other group is a far more civilized collection of gentlemen and institutions. I call them the Baker Street Regulars. They, too, will be extremely useful in our work. At the start of any investigation, do keep in mind that it is a capital mistake to theorize before one has data. Unwittingly, one begins to twist facts to suit theories instead of theories to suit facts. The people and places to whom I will now introduce you will help us to collect the facts. May we use them wisely. Come, the game's afoot.
The game's afoot. Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. I think I'm going to click that. Because that was good. There we go. Right, let's go through this then. We've done his introduction. Your sleuthing tools. Okie dokie. Right. We should go through each and everything to get an idea of what we're doing. Right, so the newspaper should be your first stop when starting a case. Simply choose one of the papers and look for relevant names and locations in the article. You can scroll each column up and down. Bear with me, I just realised I haven't changed my headphones. Right, there we go. I can't hear myself now, which is lovely. Okay, here we go. Right, so let's start again. The newspaper should be your first stop when starting a case. Simply choose one of the papers and look for relevant names and locations in the article. You can scroll each column up and down. Right, the directory contains names and places to help you in your sleuthing. When you hear or read about a curious name, select the appropriate tab to look it up. Then use the directory tools to investigate further. Okay. It also helps if you've got a pen and paper with you, which we have. So we will have that at the ready. I'll just get myself sorted with that. There we go. We're ready with our pen and paper, because we'll need that. Right, what's next? Once you select a name or location, I can't speak. Once you select name or location, select one of the three icons below. You can send Holmes and Watson to the destination. Send the Baker Street irregulars instead, or search Holmes's files for additional information. Right, okay. You can use your notebook in two ways. Select the Clue History tab to review information on what you have seen and done. Select the Clue Hints tab to request a hint from Dr. Watson himself. Okay. Sending the detectives to a location will play a video scene. Some scenes are pertinent to the case, while others may lead to dead ends or red herrings. Touch the video for playback controls. Enable or disable subtitles in the settings menu. If you believe that you have enough information to solve the mystery, select the gavel icon to bring your case before the judge. He will ask you specific questions to determine if you are indeed a master sleuth. And I have fond memories of always getting the judge saying, "You haven't got enough evidence, you need to go back." That was always fun. Certain actions in the game will cost your clue points. Your goal is to solve the mystery in as few points as possible. Note that you will not incur additional points by sending the detectives or the irregulars to a duplicate name in the directory. Right. So that's the sleuthing tools now about the regulars. Let's see.
Mr. Henry Ellis is the foreign news editor for the London Times. He is a great reservoir of information of what's happening on the continent. He also has an interest in crime news. Ellis is always happy to help when he can, but you must be careful of what you tell him, or you might find what you've confided to him in the next day's Times. This is a records office housing documents pertaining to births, marriages, deaths, and last wills and testaments. Quentin Hogg is a crime reporter for the Police Gazette. He is an ex-police inspector who found the environment of Scotland Yard less than stimulating. He has a strong deductive mind and is a very good resource. Porky is not a pillar of society, I dare say, but he is a man who has learned from his mistakes and is trying to start a new life. Although he is no longer in prison, he is still behind bars, or shall I say, a bar.
Jolly good one, Holmes.
Yes, Watson. Well, the bar in question is the Raven and Rat Inn. Porky is the proprietor. He has been of great help to us in the past, and I expect he will continue to be in the future.
What's her name? Ah, Inspector Lestrade.
Ah, Scotland Yard. If the Yard knew how to examine evidence with any skill, there would be no need for our services. Inspector Lestrade is the pick of a bad lot. But it is true they may be a source of valuable information. After all, the professional police have methods for gathering facts that are not open to us.
Okay.
Edward Hall is a young barrister whom you will find on most days at the Old Bailey. He's a cut above the other unimaginative members of his profession.
Holmes, don't you think you should explain to them the difference between a barrister and a solicitor?
Yes, of course, Watson. A solicitor handles the routine legal business of our society. If you do not have to go before a court, you will have no need for a barrister. If you must go before a court, then your solicitor would engage the services of a barrister.
Okay.
Head clerk Disraeli O'Brien is your contact in the Office of Records. The Office of Records contains legal records, both criminal and civil, as well as state papers. I think you'll find O'Brien to be a walking, or should I say sitting encyclopedia of the office's affairs. Now here is a person who usually gets in the last word. Langdale Pike is a human reference work on social scandal, especially on the London scene. He contributes bits of gossip to the garbage papers that cater to an inquisitive public. If I can't find something in my own files, I go and examine the overflowing shelves of the great London Library. It is a wealth of information.
Right.
This gentleman is the head chemist at Scotland Yard Criminology Laboratory. It is rumored that Murray lives in the lab. He is eternally bent over one of his tables trying to extract the history of a crime from the physical evidence he's been given. Sir Jasper is the chief medical examiner for St. Bartholomew's Hospital. He is London's greatest forensic pathologist. You can depend on him for all the technical details that can be obtained from any corpse whose cause of death is in question.
All right. Well, there we go. That's who we got to go and speak to. That is our regulars. Right. We don't need to do anything else. We are going to play the game. Bear with me. I'm about to sneeze. That's not fun. And it's all right. It's okay. It's not a sneeze. We're good. Here we go. Right. Begin a new game. Yes. Oh, resume a saved game. Oh, I must have played it then. But I don't remember doing it. But there we go. Within a lantern-lit sitting room at 221B Baker Street, Sherlock Holmes slowly takes a pull from his pipe, while Dr. Watson, reclining after a bit of tea, peruses a discarded copy of the London Times. Let the adventure begin.
What rubbish! What balderdash!
You must have read something terribly disturbing, Watson, for you to be so overwrought this early in the morning.
Indeed, Holmes. It's irresponsible of the Times to play upon people's superstitions.
You must be referring to the
just
affair
come
of the mummy's
flooding
curse.
The entire city in an
I
uproar.
forgot how they
3 men
eat.
dead, and they expect us to believe that a
Oh,
4,000-year-old mummy was the
The
murderer.
acting was great in this.
I'm surprised you haven't taken some interest in this case, Holmes.
To the contrary, my dear Watson. I have made some inquiries, because I dare say I do believe this murderer is a much younger chap.
Okay, right. Okay. Right, let's see our notebook. What have we got? Dr. Watson learns from the Times that a mummy is supposedly responsible for 3 men's deaths. He does not reveal the names, but they are certainly listed in the articles. Right. So we need to check the newspaper, don't we? see. Is this the one? So we want to go to... Right, so... Bum bum bum. Deaths would it be under? On the 9th, after a long illness, no. Except for bathing. Mummy strikes again, here we go. The body of James Windibank was discovered late yesterday in the room he was preparing for the British Museum's exhibit of newly discovered artefacts from the tomb of Katabet's mummy. The archaeologist was found strangled. Around his neck were linen bandages of the type used by the ancient Egyptians in wrapping mummies. Windibanks is the third murder to be associated with the mummy Katabet in the past 6 weeks. The archaeologist had accompanied the London University-sponsored expedition to Egypt. The project has been cursed with ill luck since the first discovery of the tomb several months ago. Its organiser, Dr. Ebenezer Turnbull, was murdered in the actual tomb itself. In early March, another archaeologist, Andrew Weatherby, met a similar fate on board the ship returning to England just last week. The Jardine ship, Eastern Empress, was the scene of that mysterious death. The shipboard investigation was handled by Captain Herman Ramsey and his first officer, Luther Tenney. Scotland Yard has declined to name any suspects at this time. Okay. Right, so we're going to write those names down because they will probably be of import. So the first murder was... where is it? First murder was Ebenezer Turnbull. So we want to put that down. Dr. Ebenezer Turnbull. Okay. Second one we have was... Where are you? Andrew Weatherby. And the third was James Windibank. Okay, so we've got the 3 victims. So let's just have a quick peruse. I did see something underneath here in the letters. To the editor of the Times, Sir, as a man of science and medicine, I must protest these innuendos of murderous mummies. The ancient Egyptians had progressed, but they had certainly not found the secret of everlasting life in the material world. Even had they, we cannot bring home the murder of 2 men in a 4,000-year-old mummy. Sorry, to a 4,000-year-old mummy. I can only repeat that this is utter nonsense and balderdash, without the slightest scientific basis and a disgrace to the pages of your venerable newspaper. I am, sir, your obedient servant, John H. Watson. Oh, I knew it was going to be Watson. Oh. Okay, ooh. Recent discovery of the coffin of Alexander the Great, Constantinople, April 11. Further examination of the sarcophagi. Oh look, April 11th. It's April 11th today. Look at that. Isn't that good? That's fun. We're actually playing it on a day. That's pretty cool. Okay, anyway, carry on. I'm getting distracted. Discovered in Seda in Syria, shows that among them is the sarcophagus of Alexander the Great containing the body of the monarch. Oh, there, sorry. Excuse me. Okay. Let's just... We've got to scour the paper. But you have to scour the... Ah, right, there we go. We've got another reference to the mummy there. Right, so we've got a lot of references to the mummy. So, to the editor of the Times, Sir, with regard to the recent mummy murders, I would like to suggest that we abandon our attempts to disturb the ancients in their graves or otherwise. This applies not only to such excavations as have become so common in Egypt, Morocco and other foreign lands, but also to such projects in our own British Isles. If the hypothesis of such men as James Ferguson, who believes that Stonehenge is the ancient sepulchral monument of Saxon Druids, are true, we should leave these burial grounds undisturbed. Surely, if these murders are the work of some present-day mortal human, the police will discover his identity and bring him to justice. I do sincerely believe, however, we should not meddle in the magic and sorcery of which we know naught, for we have not the means to control the forces thus unleashed. Respectfully yours, J.A. Merton. London, April 9th, to the editor of the Times. Sir, the recent mummy affair points up to a fact I have been trying to convince my fellow Britons of for quite some time. That is the phenomenal number of crimes, particularly those of a serious nature, committed by foreigners. Shouldn't we act now to restrict access to our beloved isle before this tragedy becomes yet worse? Oh God. Ooh, that's topical. Ooh. Great. Cool. Latest shipping from Lloyd's, wrecks and casualties. Lloyd's agent at Malta telegraphs that the British steamer Mary Thomas from Sebastopol for Rotterdam is reported aground on Monsieur Reef. The steamer Lady Armstrong is reported by Telegraph from Havre to been in collision with the French steamer Ville de Honfleur, lying alongside the quay. The latter sank a few minutes after the collision. A telegram from Greenore yesterday stated that the schooner George Dundas of Carvarvon from Runcorn for Warren Point had foundered 30 miles off Carlingford Bar. Crew saved. Foreign arrivals: Bombay, April 9th, Clio, St. Middlesbrough; Madeira, April 10, Foscolia, St. Cardiff, Philadelphia. Oh my God, I'm not reading all of that. Okay, fatal accident. A sad accident occurred on Monday last to Mr. Francis Scott Somerset, who, while riding in his grounds, received a concussion of the brain and died in a few hours. Ooh. All right, well, that was delightful. Okay, so we've got some names, so we're going to investigate the names. Let's see if there's any references to the mummy before that. Just scanning it. I'm scanning it for anything relevant. I'm just looking for any reference to mummy. Killed by lightning? No, that's not what we want. Fatal railway accident. Oldenburg jewel stolen. Okay. Oh. There we go. So there's no reference to the mummy there. So I think we're good. But I will just keep looking just to be on the safe side. Wait, hang on. Archaeologist dead in mummy's tomb. Karnak, March 4th. Professor Ebenezer Turnbull, organiser of the Kattebat tomb expedition, was found dead in the tomb early this morning. The inner chamber was reached early in the year after much difficult labour, and the archaeologists were quite ecstatic over the excellent condition of the sarcophagus, chamber artefacts and the Kattebat mummy itself. The party was in the final weeks of its work in the area when disaster struck. Mr. Turnbull had worked late into the night, remaining in the chamber alone after other members of the party had retired for the night. His body was discovered by Mr. Andrew Weatherby. There we go. So Weatherby, who was the second guy murdered. He was murdered on the boat. Okay. Right. Right. His body was discovered by Mr. Andrew Weatherby, another of the project archaeologists. Mr. Turnbull had been strangled to death. Ancient linen bandages were found around his neck. Upon hearing of the professor's death, several of the natives working on the excavation called upon Isis and Osiris for protection and for forgiveness. for disturbing the sacred tomb. Inscriptions found on the canopic jars and doors indicate that this death may be the mysterious work of the ancient god Tormatef and his goddess. Okay. So no reference to the third guy yet. No reference to him. But we've had a reference to linen bandages. That's the second time. So we know that linen bandages were found on the James Windibank murder and on the first murder. But we don't know anything about the second murder yet. So we're going to keep looking. We're going to keep scrolling. We're going to just keep checking for more evidence. So we just want to check for any references we might have. Right, okay, so we have got a reference to it there, so we're going to keep looking. Just double check. Lions murdered in Hyde Park. 2 lions, both male, were found shot to death in Hyde Park in the early hours of this morning. Neither the constable who discovered the macabre sight nor the inspectors of Scotland Yard admit to any clue as to the perpetrator or motive for this bizarre affair. Okay. Just keeping an eye out for any references. Right, here we go. Let's see. I feel like I need to sneeze now. Oh, bless me. Oh, bless me again. Ay, caramba. Right, there we are. Recent excavations in Egypt at the London University College on Wednesday afternoon before the appreciative audience. Dr. Ebenezer Turnbull delivered a lecture which dealt with the history of the excavations and the method by which they may most profitably be conducted. Dr. Turnbull and archaeologists James Windibank and Andrew Weatherby are embarking this week on a new Egyptian expedition, excavating Katebet's tomb at the head of the Valley of the Kings near Karnak and Luxor. Saturday's lecture was illustrated by photographs thrown on a screen by the electric light, which showed vividly and distinctly not only the work done at its various stages, but the modus operandi, the conditions under which work of this character must be carried on, and the instruments necessary for the purpose, and enabled those present to realise that in classical study, as in the science, there is an ample field of experiment and discovery upon the individual. Dr. Turnbull prefaced his lecture by an explanation of these real objects of the excavations. In these days, whatever might have given the first stimulus to such efforts, the primary motive was certainly not to find and keep treasure any more than it was the aim of the astronomer to possess a star. The modern archaeologist was as little to be confounded with the treasure seeker as the mineralogist was with the gold miner. His aim must be to restore to life the monuments of bygone times and to bring vividly before us the various phases of ancient societies, whether civilized and uncivilized. Okay, so that referenced all 3 who were murdered. Okay. We're just checking anything that might be interesting. Shortly after 9 o'clock this morning, the body of Stephen Lyons was found lying in St George's Road, Southwark. A short time previously, the deceased, a first officer for Aberdeen Shipping, was seen being led in the direction where the body was found by 2 women and a man. The body had been robbed, even 2 gold earrings, which the man had been observed to have been wearing. 2 women of ill fame and a man described as a labourer, but known to be the associate of bad characters, have been taken into custody on suspicion of having caused the sailor's death. There were no wounds on the body, and it is supposed that an overdose of some drug had been administered. Okay. Now let's go back to the last page. And we'll see if there's any references to any of the people. Just checking everything. Any references to Egypt or mummies? Here we go, archaeology. Right, let's see. To the editor of Time, sir, I feel I must write to formally register my outrage at the irresponsible handling by your paper of my recent discovery. Your reporter's insinuation that I lack the credential to unearth such antiquities is an utter affront. For your information, I am a world-renowned authority in my field, especially Egyptian studies. Your reporter obviously has no appreciation for the significance of such a finding and has no understanding of archaeology. I demand a retraction post haste. Earl of Downey. Oh, we'll write him down then. That's interesting. Earl of Downey. Is he going to be a red herring though? So put him down. Earl of Downey. So he's not mentioned. He's not one of our victims. So he could be a suspect. Right, so that's the papers looked at. We've done the papers. So let's go to our directory. I feel like let's check out, so Ebenezer Turnbull. Let's see if we can figure out. Or should we do the museum? Right, let's see. Turnbull, Ebenezer Turnbull. Search the file the Holmes files. Let's have a look. There doesn't appear to be anything on there. Okay, send the detectives. Let's see. Ironically, the doctor isn't feeling well, so Holmes decides to pay a visit to the home of the late Ebenezer Turnbull by himself. Okay.
Dr. Turnbull, he was a strange one, he was. Hardly ever at home, always traipsing about to Lord knows where.
May I take a look at his things?
Oh, suit yourself. All he had is a big pile of books about Egyptian mummies and a few maps. He was a son of an earl, he was. Though you hardly tell from looking at him, poor fellow. Do you really think this mummy thing's what's done him in? Creepy, I says.
I completely forgot how good the acting in this game is. Right, so let's just see what our notebook says. Oh, we've used 10 points. Holmes paid a visit to Turnbull's home and learns what we already knew, that Turnbull was... right, so Turnbull was the Earl of Downey. Alright, so we'll scratch that off. There we go. I didn't know that. Alright, I didn't know that. Assuming that we all knew that. Did you know that? Because I didn't know that. Okay, so we go to our next person is Andrew Weatherby. Excuse me. Andrew Clarissa Weatherby. Okay, right. Do I have anything on you? Wait. Nothing on file. Interesting. Okay, so there's nothing on file for him. Weatherby, Watson asks as Holmes reaches for his deerstalker hat. The great detective reminds the good doctor of the articles in the paper and the unfortunate demise of Andrew Weatherby.
I'm very sorry to intrude on you in your moment of grief.
Oh, that's quite all right. You know, Andrew and I hadn't been married very long.
Long enough to know if he had any enemies?
Oh, Andrew was so unassuming. Everyone liked him.
Including Mr. Urubaru?
I really loved my husband.
I'm sure you did.
Wait, he's just mentioned it.
Oh, English toffee. My favorite.
Would you like one?
Please.
Why did you say it like that?
Sorry. You'll have to
English
open
toffee.
this yourself. I've never been any good with these things.
Okay, right. So he mentioned Mr. Arubaru. Mr. Arubaru. Ah, Anthony Arubaru. Okay, well, we're going to go and investigate him in a minute. So we're going to put him down as somebody to go and talk to. So, Anthony Arubaru. Arubaru. Yeah, there we go. So we'll go and speak to him after we've spoken to everyone involved in this. So we're going to Windy Bank now. So we're going to go and speak to their significant other. James Windybank, there it is. Search the files. Do I have anything on him? Apparently not. There's literally nothing on him. Nothing's coming up. Okay, we'll send the detectives. Armed with information he has discovered both in the Times and conversations with reliable sources, Holmes sets out alone in hopes of a revelatory conversation with Windybank's widow.
James was so thrilled when Dr. Turnbull invited him to join the expedition. He felt he had spent his entire life reading books about archaeology, and now was finally getting an opportunity to go out into the field.
Tell me, Mrs. Winterberg, when your husband returned, did he discuss the deaths of his colleagues?
Of course. James was extremely upset. I know he did not believe a curse to be responsible. My husband was a man of science.
Okay, right, so I'm just going to go back to the article. I'm probably going to use up a lot of points, by the way. Right, I am just going to go back to the article because I want to get the name. Right, so Captain Herman Ramsey. So Herman Ramsey. And Luther Tenney. Okay, right. I'll just check every name. So the Jardine ship, Eastern Empress. Well, we're going to make a note of the name of the ship as well. Just Eastern Empress. Okay, let's see. Because now we've got a name, so we're going to just check if there's any references to an Arubaru. So we need to find. I want to find some information on him now, because he's been referenced. So, right, directory. Right, let's check out Miss Arubaru. Anthony Arubaru. Nothing on file. Okay. So we will go to send detectives. The good doctor receives a telegram summoning him to the home of one of his patients. Holmes hails a carriage and proceeds to Mr. Arubaru's home in hopes of a clue or two.
If this is an inconvenient time, perhaps I could come back, Mr. Uruburu.
I wouldn't hear of it. Just a bit of a hangover. I've weathered plenty worse than this.
I'm investigating the death of Andrew Weatherby. You were on the ship with him out of Cairo. Did you happen to make his acquaintance?
Weatherby, a most tedious fellow.
So tedious, one might want to do him in.
Don't be preposterous. In my condition, I couldn't have done anything of the sort.
What condition was that?
And I thought you were a great detective. The first night out, a few of us threw a bit of a bash that went on until we docked in London.
Did Mrs. Weatherby attend this particular bash?
She was the guest of honor, you might say.
Ooh. Oh, no. Okay. Right, so let's investigate the captain, so Herman Ramsey. Let's go and speak to him. Let's see, well, let's get some information on him. Captain of the Eastern Empress. Right, okay. Nothing else on him then, okay. After perusing the Times, Holmes is convinced Mr. Ramsey has information valuable to the case. He gathers his coat and hat and catches a carriage to the home of the man.
We had just come through a rather grueling storm, so I sent my first officer, Luther Tenney, down into the hold to check on the condition of the cargo. He reported back post-haste that Mr. Weatherby was lying dead among the Egyptian artifacts we were transporting. I turned over the helm to Tenney and went below to have a look for myself.
And did what you see confirm Teddy's report?
Unfortunately, yes. Weatherby was lying next to that coffin, or whatever it's called, apparently strangled. I went back to the bridge and put Tenney in charge of the investigation.
And what did he uncover?
Well, you'll have to ask him for the specifics, because I can scarcely recall the details.
Right. Okay, so Luther Tenney next. Where are you, Luther Tenney? There we are. Nothing on file. Okay. Watson hails a hansom cab and Holmes follows his friend. On their way to Tenney's address, Holmes shares his thoughts with the good doctor on the case thus far.
Let me tell you, a murder, even by a 4,000-year-old mummy, was only one odd thing in a string of bad luck on this voyage.
What sort of bad luck?
It all started with the crew, really. Seamen are a rather superstitious lot to begin with, and the idea carrying about a 4,000-year-old mummy had them shivering in their timbers. We almost faced a bloody mutiny. Then there were the passengers, a strange lot. I can tell you that reporter fellow, Travis, did us no service at all with his mystic mumbo-jumbo. He and Professor Winterbank had a regular war of words going on about whatever powers this mummy was supposed to have. And there was the two Arabs.
Arabs? Interesting. Do you recall their names?
I should hope I do. One was called Farmy. He always carried around this curious little box. No clue what was in it, but Farmy never let it out of his sight. The other one's name was Al Sard, and he spent most of his time lurking about watching Farmy. My guess is he wanted that box.
Sounds like you had your hands full.
I haven't even told you about the fight yet between Mr. Weatherby and Mr. Uruburu.
Over what?
Weatherby's wife, I'd say, though they were a tight-lipped lot about it.
I see. Tell me, Lieutenant, we understand that you were the first person to discover the body.
Yes, sir, I was. Captain Ramsey sent me down to inspect the hold. I went immediately over to them Egyptian crates. Professor Winterbank was particularly anxious about him, you know.
Could you describe the scene as you remember it?
I'll never forget it. I just made my way to the back of the hold, and I noticed at the top of them crates, the one what carried the mummy's coffin was raised up kind of funny like. The coffin lid was laid off to one side, and there was Mr. Weatherby all sprawled on the floor next to a bowl of ashes. He'd been strangled by a length of the mummy's sheeting. It's bloody
Right,
gruesome,
okay.
I tell
So
you.
there we go. Got the
Poor bloke's eyes popped out like a couple of sausages on a hot iron skillet.
Quite a vivid picture, don't you agree, Holmes?
Quite. And you reported this to Captain Ramsay straight away.
Absolutely. In fact, the captain put me in charge of the entire investigation.
And what did you discover? Did anybody have any contact with Weatherby on the night of the murder?
Not that I know of. I could account for all the crew. And the passengers were in their cabins as far as anyone knew or would say. Nobody saw anything, heard anything, or knew anything. Besides, Weatherby was seasick from the beginning. He stayed pretty much in his cabin all the time. Maybe that's why the lovely young Mrs. Weatherby was gallivanting about.
With Uruburu?
Yes, indeed.
And what of the bowl? Where is it now?
The bowl?
With the ashes.
Oh, yes. You know, now that you mention it, I don't recall ever seeing it again.
Okay, so we have now got the linking factor so far is they all three victims were strangled, and at the moment it appears they've all strangled with bandages, but we can't be certain of that. We don't know if that's true or not. So I need to watch that again because I need to get the third name. I need to find the third name.
Let me tell you, a murder, even by a 4,000-year-old mummy, was only one odd thing in a string of bad luck on this voyage.
What sort of bad luck?
It all started with the crew, really. Seamen are a rather superstitious lot to begin with, and the idea carrying about a 4,000-year-old mummy had them shivering in their timbers. We almost faced a bloody mutiny. Then there were the passengers, a strange lot. I can tell you that reporter fellow, Travis, did us no service at all with his mystic mumbo-jumbo. He and Professor Winterbank had a regular war of words going on about whatever powers this mummy was supposed to have. And there was the two Arabs.
Arabs? Interesting. Do you recall their names?
I should hope I do. One was called Farmy. He always carried around this curious little box. No clue what was in it, but Farmy never let it out of his sight. The other one's name was Al-Sad, and he spent most of his time lurking about watching Farmy. My guess is he wanted that box.
Sounds like you had your
Okay.
hands full.
I haven't even told you about the
Al-Sad
fight yet
is
between
the
Mr.
third
Weatherby
guy.
and
Right,
Mr.
okay.
Arubaru.
Over what?
Weatherby's wife, I'd say, though they were...
Right, we don't need to watch that anymore because we've got what we need. Right, let's see. So let's see if we can find the museum. We need to find a bit more information about Jardine. There we go. Right, let's see. Steamship company located in the east section of the city. It operates several transoceanic vessels, including the ships Hercules and Eastern Empress. Okay. Right, let's see. I have already forgotten who does what. Right, anyway, let's see if we can figure out who these people are. So we're going to find Al-Sad. Ah, there you go. Al-Sad Abdullah. There we are. Right, have we got anything on him? Nothing on file. Okay, well, let's go speak to him then. Holmes knows nothing of Al-Sad and is eager to accompany Watson to his home. Perhaps the gentleman could be of service to them.
Well, Holmes, I checked in with Mr. Al-Sad's manservant and...
And you discovered that Mr. Al-Sad was not at home.
But however did you know that?
Elementary, my dear Watson. I noticed some crumpet crumbs from the corner bakery stuck to your lapel. You haven't been gone long enough to stop for tea and interview anyone at length.
Most observant, sir.
Right, well, he's a no-go. He's a no-go. So that's a red herring. Let's try Farmy next. See who we got. Where are you? Akram Farmy. Ah, native of Saudi Arabia, intensely interested in medieval artifacts, particularly of the precious nature. Right, let's see then. Let's see if we can... A mist seems to arise from the Thames as the men cross a bridge on their way to meet with Akram Farmy, a handler of historical relics.
Hello? Is anyone there? Mr.
Oh,
Farmy, are you at home?
He's dead. Oh.
Apparently so, Walton.
Oh.
Oh, what ghastly business. Everyone will assume the mummy has struck again.
Hardly a plausible assumption.
Oh,
This poor fellow has a knife in his
business.
back and not a scrap of sheeting about his neck.
How very observant, Holmes.
Ring up Scotland Yard. This case is simple enough for them to solve.
You've solved it already.
Elementary, my dear Watson. Obviously, it was the butler.
Butler? What butler?
Exactly my point. A man as wealthy as Akram Farmy would always have a manservant about him. After the foul deed, this one obviously beat a hasty retreat.
Oh. Oh. Okay, well, there we are. So, let's just put in brackets on there. Deceased. So with Alsard, I'm just going to put out. And now we've got to go and find Travis. Let's see. Travis. Where are you? Travis. Philip Travis. Nothing on file. Okay. So let's go and speak to him. Holmes decides to travel to Mr. Travis's home alone, leaving Watson in the company of Mrs. Hudson and her apple cranberry cakes.
So you've been reading my articles in the Times. I'm honored. What do you think of them?
Quite interesting. You've clearly been following the murders quite closely. Who do you suspect?
I believe it is the work of the ancient Egyptian god Pumatef and his goddess Neith.
Be serious.
I couldn't be more serious. You see, Mr. Holmes, although I am a journalist, I was actually trained as an Egyptologist. I know all about these mysteries. That's why my articles carry the force of truth.
And what is the truth, Mr. Travis?
The truth is that the Egyptians discovered the secret of life. What we call science is mere child's play compared to the knowledge they had. Look at this. Do you know what this is?
It appears to be a mummified animal of some sort, a monkey, perhaps?
Precisely.
Quite a conversation piece.
I've been using it in some very important experiments which, if successful, will unlock the secret for bringing back the souls of the dead. I've been working on it, Mr. Holmes, using these tanner leaves. Watch. Uma lotus. Licantina. Burura.
It appears
He's
that the
quite
soul of this
mad.
particular monkey has no intention of making a reappearance.
It's only a matter of time. I know it is. After all, these secrets have been buried for thousands of years. These things don't happen overnight. But it will happen someday.
Okay.
This is my mission.
I believe I'll leave you to your work, Mr. Travis.
And don't go
putting him
yet.
down
But let me show you more.
as a suspect.
Thank you. Some other time, perhaps.
Right, so he's a suspect, and I'm putting down. Where is he? Anthony Arubaru. I'm putting him as a suspect too. All right. Don't want to go and speak to him, but Right, don't want to send the regulars yet. Can I find the London Museum? Is that here? No. Henry Ellis is the foreign news editor of the London Times. He has been interested in crime news. Right, let's go and speak to him then. Let's speak to Ellis. Henry Ellis is the foreign news editor of the London Times. He has a keen interest in crime news. Alright, so we're going to send... Watson hails a carriage and he and Holmes proceed to the offices. Ah, there we go. We found a key clue again. There we are. Right, so Holmes proceeds to the offices of the London Times. Surely Henry, as the editor of the Times, would have some interesting news regarding this case.
It's quite amusing, all this hoopla over a mummy's curse, I must say.
Hoopla?
Not so amusing, of course, the murder of 3 Englishmen.
Have any of your reporters uncovered anything new?
Actually, I've been in Paris the past several weeks. Just returned to London on Tuesday. I've had no involvement with the writing of any of these articles. I believe they are all the work of Philip Travis. He's one of our young reporters. For a short time, he was the Egyptian correspondent.
Was he sacked?
No. He returned to London just a few days ago. I gather he was reassigned to cover the case from here because he had some familiarity with a murder in Egypt.
Do you know Travis?
No, never actually met the chap, although I hear he's a bit of an odd duck.
Thanks for your help, Henry.
Anytime. Let me know when you catch the mummy. That's one scoop I'd like to get.
Okay, well that didn't really give us much. Technically, we've done it the wrong way round. We went to see Henry Travis before we... Sorry, yeah, no, wait. We went to see Travis before we met Ellis. So, let's see. I'm just going to go for it because I want to see who they all are. A young barrister? No. Don't need to do that. Don't need to speak to you. Hogg Quentin. What do you do? Quentin Hogg worked for Scotland Yard as police inspector 1869 to 1882. He now reports on crime for the Police Gazette. Could we go and speak to him? Maybe he's got some more information. Let's see. Holmes dispatches Watson to check on leads elsewhere as he himself hoofs over to the Police Gazette to speak with Quentin Hogg. Since the reporter loves nothing more than one-sided conversation, Holmes fears a long afternoon ahead.
Now, the thing what does strike me as odd is the passenger list of the Eastern Empress. Now, I'm not saying it has anything to do with the mummy murders, mind you, but it was a bit out of the ordinary.
What was Hogg?
Akram Palmy, for starters. He's a well-known importer, he is. For a price, a considerable price by all accounts, he can acquire whatever one's heart desires, be it jewels, art objects, or even wild animals, if that's what you fancy. I'd say he was on board that ship to transport something very valuable.
The presence of one high-powered importer on a London-bound vessel is hardly reason for suspicion.
Right-o. But Abdullah al-Saad was also on board.
Oh, yes. The well-known agent for the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire.
You never miss a trick, do you, Holmes? Well, whatever it was what Palmy was carrying, I'd say it was something those Turks wanted to get their hands on.
Right, okay, so... But we know Farmy is dead. Located in St. James Square for paying members only, Lomax is the sub-librarian. Well, let's go to him. We're going to use all of our resources. A fog rolls in as Holmes and Watson take a carriage to the London Library. Watson insists they know more about mummies if they are going to solve these murders. Holmes is unconvinced, but accompanies the good doctor nonetheless.
Here it is, Holmes. Egyptian mummies are embalmed bodies preserved to facilitate their resurrection. Many mummies have been found, and they are almost always the bodies of pharaohs. The pharaohs believed that one day their bodies would be brought back to life. See History of Egyptian Mummies by Pettigrew, London, 1834.
Very good, Watson.
Well, there we are. Okay, we know a bit more about mummies. That's always good. Okay, so who else can we go and speak to? I've got no information on him. Murray H.R. H.R. Murray is the head chemist at the Scotland Yard Criminology Lab. He decided on his chosen profession when he was a child. His beloved older brother was murdered and the police never found the culprit. Okay, well he might be handy. Let's go and speak to him. Since Holmes has other matters to attend to, he sends the doctor to discuss what, if anything, HR had discovered about these murders.
Pettigrew wrote this book over 50 years ago, and there's still nothing better on the subject. Fascinating. Just fascinating. And what can I do for you today, Whitson?
It's Watson, sir.
Watson, yes, of course.
We're interested in what you may have learned about this mummy case.
Oh, so these days it's mummies you're chasing down with that fella Helms.
It's Holmes, sir.
This is what I said now, isn't it, Whitson?
Yes, I believe you did, sir.
Let me show you what I found so far. This is the bit of linen that was found round the neck of James Windibank. I examined it thoroughly, and it is quite old, perhaps thousands of years. However, it is not the murder weapon.
Are you certain of that?
Aye. The linen is quite old, but it's not at all strong enough to strangle a grown man.
Very interesting, sir.
I also found something quite fascinating. Take a look through this glass. Do you see those short hairs on the fabric?
They look precisely like hairs.
Of course they look like hairs. But what kind of hairs? They're not human hairs. They're dog hairs. Now, look at this. This piece of linen was found round the neck of the victim on board the ship. Well, his name was Leatherby or something. It is also quite old, and on it I found more hairs.
More dog hairs?
No, my dear man, monkey hairs. I've not yet been able to identify the precise species, but it's just extraordinary, isn't it?
Quite. But what do you think it all means?
Well, I'm not the sort who likes to jump to conclusions, Whitson. But I can assure you that neither of these bandages were the murder weapons.
So they weren't the murder weapons, but they had hairs on them. Monkey hairs. Now, we know Travis was working with monkeys. So I'm just going to put in there monkey hair question mark. Okay. So we've got four murders now. And I've got, what, 2 suspects, perhaps? Okay. Right, let's see. Disraeli O'Brien, let's see, what are you? Is the head clerk of the Office of Records Department at 14 Chancery Lane. He has a phenomenal memory when it comes to any legal records pertaining to the last 30 years. Maybe he's got some information? Let's go. The detectives decide to stroll to the Office of Records Department as Watson insists the fresh air will do the investigation good. Holmes is not so sure, but humours the good doctor.
Well, Holmes, it appears we're out of luck. The clerk told me that O'Brien is off on holiday.
Curses. Right, well that was a waste of a walk. Right, Langdale is a columnist and contributor to a number of London papers and can usually be found lounging at the Societies Club. He is an excellent source for gossip about the London scene. The Langdale Pikes are also a pair of scenic hills in Westmoreland. Right, well, let's speak to him, and he might have some information for us. The Societies Club is not a venue that Holmes and Watson frequent, let alone belong. However, the detectives know that Langdale Pike knows what goes on behind closed doors, more than anyone in London.
I know only a very little about 2 of the unfortunate gentlemen. I do recall that Turnbull was quite an eccentric chap. I don't believe he ever married, nor did he take his rightful place in London society.
And what of Windibank?
A quiet academic sort, as far as I can tell. Married to a woman called Hildegard. There was one spot of controversy that I can recall. It seems a few years back he had a run-in with the Anti-Vivisectionist League.
No, but of course.
It seems that during a lecture on the advancement of science, he spoke of the autopsy of his own pet, a recently deceased Yorkshire Terrier. Well, I can tell you the Times received a great deal of letters to the editor condemning him on that one. Even one from a Louise Fenwick, who threatened to vivisect him.
Oh, dear. Well, then I
Right.
surmise it's Weatherby you know nothing about.
Louise Fenwick.
Well, now that you mention it, I believe he was assisting Professor Windibank in that lecture series.
Wait, did he... Sorry, I'm just going to replay that. Because did he just mention...
I know only a
Travis?
very little about two of the unfortunate gentlemen. I do recall that Turnbull was quite an eccentric chap. I don't believe he ever married, nor did he take his rightful place in London society.
And what of Windibank?
A quiet academic sort, as far as I can tell. Married to a woman called Hildegard. There was one spot of controversy that I can recall. It seems a few years back he had a run-in with the Anti-Vivisectionist League.
No, but of course.
It seems that during a lecture on the advancement of science, he spoke of the autopsy of his own pet, a recently deceased Yorkshire Terrier. Well, I can tell you the Times received a great deal of letters to the editor condemning him on that one. Even one from a Louise Fenwick, who threatened to vivisect him.
Oh, dear. Well, then I surmise it's Weatherby you know nothing about.
Well, now that you mention it, I believe he was assisting Professor Windibank in that lecture series.
Right, so Weatherby has links. Interesting. Okay. Shinwell Johnson, also known as Porky Shinwell, has served 2 terms at Parkhurst Prison. He has forsaken his life of crime for that of an innkeeper. He is now the proprietor of the Raven and Rat Inn. Okay, well, let's go and speak to him. He might have some information. A quick carriage ride takes Holmes to the Raven and Rat Inn. Before stepping inside, the consulting detective is nearly flattened by an intoxicated patron stumbling from the inn.
There was a couple of blokes in here just a fortnight ago what mentioned the Eastern Empress. Never seen 'em before, haven't seen 'em since. One was a swarthy fellow, Arab unless I miss my guess. The other was an old English gent. I overheard 'em say something about a bird and later caught the name of the ship. I hope that helps you. Care for a drink, yeah?
Right, a bird and name of a ship. Okay. That did not help us. That did not help us at all. Seventh House, located on the south side of the Strand. The office of the Registrar General of Births, Marriages, Deaths and Probate Registry are located here. It also houses the Commons. Will Office. The records are open to the public. Okay, well that's a good thing. Let's go over there. A quick carriage ride takes Holmes and Watson to Somerset House. Certainly they will have information on the wills of the dead men.
Mr. Turnbull apparently left what little he had to the Egyptology department at London University. And Windibank left everything to his wife Hildegard.
What about Weatherby?
Ditto. Everything was left to his wife Clarissa. Although being such a young chap, it hardly seems that he had much to leave at all.
Okay. Right. Right, where we get Louise... Was it Louise Fletcher? No, Fenwick. Was it Fenwick? Yeah, Louise Fenwick. Let's go and speak to her. Merrill Fenwick is president of the Bank of England. He was originally employed there by Clarence Clement, the bank's former president. Okay, well, let's speak to them. Cap in hand, the men relieve 221 Baker Street and journey to the other side of town to visit the haughty Fenwicks. They hope for a tidbit of information.
I'm sorry, but I don't know anything about the death of old... whatever his name was.
Andrew Weatherby.
Fact is, I only saw the gentleman once, just as we were boarding. And I'll tell you, I resented the first officer's questioning us on the matter, and I resent yours.
The whole voyage was a disaster from beginning to end. Our accommodations were positively abysmal. They wouldn't even let us bring Dickie into our cabin.
Dickie? Her high-strung, distasteful little mutt.
How can you say that, Merrill? You know Dickie is a blue-blooded Yorkshire Terrier. Mumsy will be with you in just a moment, Dickykins. He's a bit under the weather, you know. That's why we were only able to stay in Egypt for 2 weeks. Dickie was so disappointed. He so wanted to see the Sphinx.
Mr. Holmes is not interested in your incessant whining, Louise.
Oh, now I whine, do I? There was a time you thought I had a lovely speaking voice. It's true, Mr. Holmes. He once adored me.
No doubt.
Oh, for the love of God, Louise, spare us your blubbering.
Oh, God. Oh, jeez. Wow. Okay. Right. Let's see. Oh, we're using a lot of points. Oh, jeez. Oh, God, we're up to 100 points. Oh, my God. It's still going. It's still go. Oh, my God, 200 points. Wow, 200 points. So much for not using a lot of points. Okay, well, there we go. Right, let's see. Holmes visited the Weatherby residence and questions Clarissa Weatherby about her husband and a relationship with Mr. Uruburu. She only admits to loving her husband. The great detective visited the home of the late James Winterbank. He learns from his wife that James didn't believe in curses and considered him a man of science. Holmes visited Mr. Uruburu at his residence. There he learns that the man apparently had a liaison with Clarissa Witherby. So we need to go back to her, I suppose? Holmes visited with Captain Ramsay of the Eastern End Press. The man admits to putting Mr. Luther Tenney in charge of investigating the death of James Windybank. The detectives visited with Luther Tenney and learned that Travers and Windybank were constantly arguing, and Windybank got in a fight with Mr. Uruburu. Other information concerned a bowl found near Windybank's body and 2 suspicious Arabs. Holmes and Watson visited Akram Farmi and learned that he was murdered, a knife protruding from his back. Holmes talked to Philip Travers and discovers that the journalist believes Egyptian gods killed the Englishman. Much to Holmes's chagrin, the man attempts to raise the spirit of a monkey. Oh my goodness. Okay. Watson visited Murray at the criminology lab, where he learns that while the linens are old, they did not kill the men. He also learns that they contain dog and monkey hairs. Okay, can we go back and speak to people? Let's see, I'm going to send the irregulars. Holmes passes a note to Mrs. Hudson to deliver the irregulars. It contains the address of Akram Farmi and wants the boys to be diligent but careful. Message from Higgins from an irregular. Nobody was home, but I smelled a rat. Alright, okay. English Archaeological Society. Nothing on file, but we're going to go there. Holmes agrees that the trip to the English Archaeological Society might wrap up a line of their investigation. Okay.
This seemed to be a dead end. No one had any information that could help us solve this case.
Alright. Okay. Right, let's try the... There we go, let's try this guy again. Let's send the irregulars. Holmes has to pronounce Mr. Alsad's name half a dozen times before the irregulars understood and are sent on their way. No, sorry, Gov, no one's at home. Damn, okay. So he's a red herring. He's a red herring. So, I'm just going to keep looking through everything, just to double check. Imperial Theatre. There's nothing for the museum, is there? Well, I suppose we just tried there, it didn't help. London University, maybe? This Institute of Higher Learning was founded in 1836 at Westminster. Among other functions, it serves as an examining board which grants degrees to candidates in the arts and sciences. So we check there. Watson states the obvious when he recommends a trip to the Egyptology department. Oh, there we go, we've got key evidence. Holmes commends the good doctor and ushers him out the door into the fading sunlight.
Such a tragedy. Fine men all, and such outstanding scholars. I still can't quite get over the shock of it.
We understand.
Professor, we're looking for background information on these three men so that we can understand how their murders might tie together.
Well, let me begin with Dr. Turnbull. Ebenezer Turnbull was responsible for organizing the Carteret expedition. Quite a remarkable man, really. This was the first time he teamed up with James Windibank. Professor Windibank was one of our most popular lecturers. In fact, several of his former students were also eager to accompany him. I recall him saying that he was having difficulty choosing. Weatherby turned out to be the lucky one, though it seems far from it now, doesn't it? I suppose Smith and Travis turned out to be the lucky ones after all.
Smith and Travis?
Peter Smith accepted the invitation to join another expedition. As for Philip Travis, he was quite keen on accompanying Professor Windibank. In fact, he became exceedingly upset when Andrew Weatherby, a postgraduate student in the department, was chosen instead. Took it rather personally, I should say.
Okay, well. So Peter Smith. We need to go speak to Peter Smith. Where are we? Smith. Let's go. Peter Smith. There he is. Nothing on file. Okay. But let's go. Send the irregulars first. Having heard Smith's name in a recent conversation, Holmes himself summons the irregulars in the hopes of a tidbit of information concerning the man. Appears the bloke's been out of the country since March. Right, so he's not available. Okay. So we can't go to him. Right. Can we talk to Philip? Can we talk to him again? Send the irregulars. Watson asks two of the most trusted lads to follow up on an important lead. He sends them to the home of Philip Travis, a sometimes contributor to the Times. The shutters were down tight. Heard some weird chanting, I think I did. Should we go back? Let's go back. Holmes decides to travel to Mr. Travis's home alone, leaving Watson in the company of Mrs. Hudson and an apple crumble cakes.
So you've been reading my articles in the Times?
Oh, no. Okay, well... No. Okay, well, he's not given us any more information. Okay. Both agree that sending the regulars to Luther Tenney's home would be wise. The boys are stunned and wonder what the world is coming to. This Tenney fellow was nice enough. Says he saw some Arabs on the ship he was on, and there was lots of fights. Sounds like fun. Well, that's all the information we got anyway. Arg. Societies Club. Alright, well, let's go there then. The Societies Club is a venue that Holmes and Watson frequent.
I know only a very little about two of the...
Oh, okay. Well, we've been here, we've done this. Okay. There's no point going to the criminology lab because we've already spoken to him. Right, well, let's speak to Lestrade. Does Lestrade have any more information for us? Lestrade's bulldog tenacity has brought him to the top at Scotland Yard. He is rather an imaginative sort who is often out of his depth. Provided assistance with the taking of Sebastian Moran and the Baskerville case. Well, let's go there anyway. Although talking with Lestrade is often tedious and the inspector is condescending, Holmes and Watson visit Scotland Yard hoping the man has done his due diligence in this case and can offer insight.
Well, well, if it isn't Mr. Sherlock Holmes, London's most overly praised amateur sleuth, needing the help of the Yard again.
Are you going to stand for that, Holmes?
Let's just see who proceeds to solve this case, Watson. Inspector Lestrade, my good man, I'm looking into the cause of James Windibank's death.
I should have known. That murder has brought out every crank in the city. I think the professional police can wrap this one up.
All the same, could you tell us what you've discovered to date?
One dead archaeologist, no suspect, no motive.
And what of Andrew Weatherby's death? Have you looked into that?
I have talked to Captain Ramsey, but we have no leads. Look, I'm not even sure that Weatherby's murder falls into our jurisdiction. And if it doesn't, you're not going to find me worrying about it. As it is, I have enough murders to take care of.
Well, he was useless. Right, let's... Is this the lawyer guy? No, he's the Officer of Records. Don't need to speak to you. Pike Langdale, are you the guy we need to speak to? No. Is it Meek? Are you the lawyer? Nope, okay. Edward Hall, are you the guy? Barrister, there we go. Let's speak to him. Maybe he's got some information. Watson accompanies Holmes to see the barrister at the Old Bailey. The carriage ride is uneventful, and for reasons unknown, Holmes fears his visit with Hall will yield similar results.
Sorry, fellows. I don't mean to be brusque, but I am too occupied at the moment to concern myself with these so-called mummy murders. Perhaps if the mummy's solicitor were to contact me, then perhaps I would consider defending him.
Ugh. He's horrible. Right, okay. We're probably at like 300 points now. Yeah, we're getting there. 300 points. So much for... Oh, jeez. So much for not using many points up. But hey, I'm being thorough, okay? Let's see. Let's get a hint from Watson. Press the Watson's Hint button to request a hint. Right, there we go. An article in the newspaper from August 17, 1888 mentions an excavation and the names of 3 men. Note the location of the lecture. Oh, okay. Let's go and have a look then. August 17. August 17. Right, University College. Yeah, we know all this. We know all this. We did all this, so yeah, we know all that. The university, and we've been to the university. Okay. Let's see. Bum-ba-dum-ba-dum. Okay. London University College. Where are you? You're there, but we've already been to you. We've already been there. Anything in there? Just going to double check everything, just to make sure. I'm going to send the irregulars. wisely calls upon the irregulars to travel post-haste to discuss the recent murders with the widow James Windibank. Caught the missus at home. She says the chap who wrote the newspaper stories about the mummy of yours was one of Windibank's old students. I'm leaning towards it being Travis by a long shot right now. But we need information. So I'm gonna keep looking. Right, let's see. Let's send the irregulars to them. After an exhaustive search through the London Times, Holmes decides to send two of the most responsible of the boys to the Weatherby's house, Telly and Peeps. We talked to a lovely lady. She offered us some treats, but could barely open the tin. Oh. That wasn't helpful. West House and Marbank? What's that? London firm which imports fine French clarets. Right, Arubaru. Let's send them to him. Arubaru. U-R-U-B-U-R-U. Watson says over and over to the irregulars. After 5 minutes, he gives up and simply says, please, talk with Mr. U about these mummy murders. This guy came to the door, but could barely stand. Oh God, he sure smelled of whiskey, he did. Oh, and apparently he was on that ship where that guy died. That's not helpful. I want to I'm going with Travis. I'm leaning towards it's Travis. But he's going to ask me information, isn't he? But we haven't figured out who murdered Farmy yet. We've got no new evidence on that. Farmy's dead. Killing for Disraeli O'Brien, head clerk. No, that's who. We've been there, done him. Let's do that. Send the irregulars to him. Holmes looks up from his paper and summons the lads to his side. I need you to visit Captain immediately. He drops a shilling into the boy's hands and shoos him out the door. The captain said that he put Tenny in charge of the whole investigation. Right. So we've already spoken to him and... I'm really not trying to stretch this out, I promise you. I'm trying to figure this out, okay? And I'm just using as much information as I've got. The daily newspaper is in class by itself, always maintaining the high standards. Well, let's try there. Knowing that Ellis had the London Times covered, Watson suggests sending the boys to the Financial Times, hoping for a bit of information from the paper. Got nothing from this lot, but aching feet. Come on, Watson. All right, well, that was pointless. Sorry. The London Library. For paying members only. No matches that right now. We can't do that because we've already been there. I am... Right, I'm going to get another hint. I'm going to get another hint from Watson. Right, an article in the newspaper from Tuesday, March 5th, 1889 mentions the strangulation of Ebenezer Turnbull. There were ancient linens about his neck. Are those strong enough to do the deed? Note, there is no author for this article. Yeah, we've done that. An article in the newspaper the other year mentions 2 additional murders, winners aboard a ship and the other at the British Museum. Note other names mentioned there. Yeah, we've done that. I've done again, we figured that out. Take a few minutes to check Holmes's files about the men who were murdered, and if there is anything significant written there, look at names and places. I've done that. I'm not... Shh, stop it. Right, well, we know he's dead. Native of Saudi Arabia, intensely interested in medieval artifacts, particularly of the precious nature. Alright, so we got that information. We know him. And this guy, nothing on file. Okay, nothing on file for him. Windy Bank. So, no, there's nothing on file for him. Nothing on file. Alright. And then, where are you? Fenwick. Oh, Athelney Jones. Don't get distracted. Who was the last guy? So we've got Turnbull. That was it, Turnbull. And again, nothing on him. Nothing on file for him. Okay, right, so we've got nothing on them. Right, let's see. A scathing letter to the editor of the newspaper written by a man with a curious title. Sound familiar? This is all stuff I already know. Right, well, I'm just going to accuse him. Holmes and Watson leave 221B Baker Street and hurry to the Queen's Court to present their case before the magistrate. Armed with information about the mummy murders, the detectives cut a swath through the London fog and head to the Queen's Court, believing they have solved the case of 3 dead Englishmen. Holmes and Watson hail a carriage and are whisked away to the Queen's Court.
No, gentlemen, you haven't done a thorough enough job of investigating yet. Do continue your sleuthing.
Damn it! I thought I had everything. I thought I did. What else is there, though? What else can I do? Respectfully yours. Oh. J.A. Merton. Alright, let's see if he's in my directory. Merton. J.A. Merton. J.M. Merton. There we go. Oh, hang on. Is it J.A. or J.M.? Nothing on him, but we'll send the irregulars. Not knowing the mental state of Mr. Merton, Watson is hesitant to send an irregular. The boys laugh at the good doctor and tell him that this one is on us, Gov, as they bolt for the door and down Baker Street. This bloke had a mad laugh and a creepy stare. He is crazy, we say. Right, oh, well, I'm going to go and visit him then. Regardless of what Watson says, Holmes doubts that even if Mr. Merton is at home, he would come to the door. Why? Asks the good doctor. Because his reputation precedes him, is the answer.
They had absolutely no information pertaining to this case.
I thought not, Watson. It appears that we've wasted our time.
I'm beginning to realise why I feel like my memories of this game are rose-tinted. Rose-tinted memories. definitely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right, Stella Mummy. She's a stellar mummy. Okay, well, let's go back to the paper. Oof. 400 points. I can't believe that. Right, so he was Merton. Up to a fact. I've been to convince my fellow Britons of the fact. Johnny Bulldog Trent. Well, let's go and speak to him. Is he of import? Let's go. Johnny Bulldog Trent, where are you? Bulldog, Johnny Bulldog. Self-proclaimed nationalist and frequent contributor to the letters to the editor section of the Times, known to be a bit off his nut, has advocated expelling all foreign ambassadors from England. Okay. The irregulars look at each other nervously when asked to visit Bulldog. Finally, Pepys reluctantly decides to take the assignment for twice the fee. Guy's nut sounds. He ran me off. Oh. Maybe I can get some information from him. As the carriage arrives at their residence, Watson nearly drags Holmes inside, believing that the Times contributor has information regarding mummies.
Sorry, Holmes. No information here.
Yeah.
Well, let's not dawdle, Watson. There's work to be done.
I'm trying, okay? I'm trying. British Museum. Well, let's go there. Holmes logically concludes that the clues in this case point to the visiting of the museum. Watson heartily agrees and follows the detective out the door.
Windibank's body was found in the mummy's case.
Inside it?
Precisely. One of the guards, Henry Witherspoon, discovered it when making his rounds. He noticed that the lid was askew and a hand was sticking out of it. By the look on his face when he came to summons me, he must have thought that the mummy was attempting to leave its resting place. Some of the guards have been a bit on edge, you know, since the stories about Dr. Turnbull's death.
What happened when you arrived at the scene?
Witherspoon assisted me in removing the lid, and there was the body of James Windibank. Around his neck was a bandage of linen.
And the mummy was missing?
No, it was in there too. Underneath poor Windibank, completely undisturbed, not a length of its sheeting unraveled.
Who had access to the exhibit room?
Well, the room was officially closed yesterday while we set up the exhibit, but the museum was open and we took no extraordinary precautions to keep people out.
Can you think of anyone who might have wanted to kill Windibank?
None at all. I actually didn't know him very well. He did work for the museum, you see. He was with the London University. The university and the museum were joint sponsors of the Ketterbeck expedition.
Mr. Johnson, can you think of anything whatsoever that might shed some light on this affair?
No. I'm very sorry. I can't think of a thing. I only hope that all this publicity doesn't keep people away from the exhibit.
Right, well, we've got a new name. Let's go and see about him. We have a new name. Where are you? What was his name? Witherspoon. Oh, but he's not in here. He's not in my directory. Oh, Henry Witherspoon isn't in my directory. Well, that's annoying. That is frustrating. Oh. Okay. That's curious. Okay, right, so we haven't got them. right. I know. I'm using up my points. Let's check again. Let's go. Ba-ba-ba. So we've done this. We've done Luther Tenney. That's Watson. All right, let's see the previous letters, and we'll just see about this. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, there we go. I've just literally, because I've been reading, I've started reading Sherlock Holmes. Never read them before. A bit like Lord of the Rings. I'm reading them at a late date. I've read Lord of the Rings, obviously. It took me, I believe, I'm going to say it took me 2 years to read Lord of the Rings, because I read the first book, Fellowship, all the way through, not a problem. I got halfway through the Two Towers and I had to stop. It was so long-winded, and I picked it up about a year later and just continued, and I went straight through both the last of that and Return of the King. I really enjoyed it, but I'm really enjoying Sherlock Holmes at the moment, and I'm reading The Sign of Four, which is where this comes in. So that's a really nice little thing there. I just thought I'd tell you that. Terrible death. Bizarre death. The police records are bare indeed. More than that, Isidora was found stark, staring mad, with matchboxes in front of him, and contained a remarkable worm unknown to science. He survived only by a few days in that state of madness before coming to the mercifully quick death. Mr. James Fillmore, who disappeared without trace the same day my husband was fiendishly driven mad. The police treat me with the condescension they reserve for hysterical widows, so I am now turning to you and the public for support in the pursuit and prosecution of Mr. Fillmore, who I believe has left England aboard the cutter Alicia. Your obedient and hopeful servant, Miss Ipisano. Okay. Nothing pertaining to the murders yet. Body was found at the entertainments. Police said 25 feet 7 inches, killed by lightning. Fatal railway accident. Jewels stolen. Okay, let's just go up to letters. Right, so is this archaeologist dead in mummy's tomb? Mr. Turnbull, Mr. Weatherby. Archaeologist Mr. Turnbull had been strangled to death. Ancient linen bandages were found around his neck. On hearing of the first death, several of the natives working on the excavation called upon ISIS. Right, okay. Huh. Right, well, there's no information there, so let's go to this one. We've got to be so thorough with this. I'm sorry, I'm not really talking, am I? But I'm just so into this. I'm solving a crime. Sir, having agonised on what it takes to have you print one of my many critical missives, I have changed my tack to say how much I love everything, even the Times. Geoffrey Wolfson. An inquest was held yesterday on the body of William Appenwell, who was shot by John Rowe. Stepson near North Shields. Willful accident on the docks. Appeal to the public for information on the recent disturbances in Whitechapel. Anonymity guaranteed. Windy Bank, Turnbull, Weatherby. Any mention of anyone else? Nope. Well, I mean, I am stumped by this. I am stumped by this. We'll go back to the first paper and we'll just check. Anyone who can give information as to the family relatives Jacob Fitchett, who was last heard serving in the United States steamship Dakota. Nope. Live ostriches. Strange event. A sudden gale on the Isle of Man blew off the roof of a stone church yesterday and would have crushed the pastor's house, but was blocked by a tree which had fallen earlier. No injuries. Drowned on Wednesday evening. 4 men who were employed lifting near Glenfarriff. No, okay, not what I want. Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me again. Oh, God. Am I coming down with the cold? No. I must formally register my outrage at the irresponsible handling by your paper of my recent discovery. Yeah, we know who you are. We know who you are now. New features, Bloomsbury Boxing Day, Royal Pavilion every Monday. Ah, right. I don't know what else I'm supposed to be looking for because it's really, I'm confused now. I mean, let's go for another Watson hint. Right, what we got? The April 12th newspaper mentions the name of the ship and a captain. Surely they would have a log of passengers. It's important to eliminate suspects from the excavation. The ship and the murder in London. Perhaps send someone there other than the detectives to get information. I did do that. They didn't give me anything else. We've already done that. But I could, where are we? Shipping companies. It was this one. So we could do that. Let's go. Believing the shipping company could provide a valuable clue. Ah, there we go. Important discovery. The guy wouldn't give us the list of passengers, so we stole it. Mrs. Hudson dropped it in your notebook for her. She did. Oh, right, it's in our notebook. Let's go, guys. Right, let's have a look then, shall we? What did we get? The irregulars uncovered a list of passengers from the Eastern Empress: Abdullah Al-Saud, Akram Fahmy, Louise Fenwick, Merrill Fenwick, Philip Travis, Anthony Arubaru, Andrew Weatherby, Clarissa Weatherby, and James Windybank. Okay, well, we know that he's dead. Fahmy is dead. Ooh, should I send the irregulars to the Fenwicks? Maybe we'll do that. I think we should. There we go. Let's send them to the Fenwicks. Not a hand is raised when Watson asks the boys who is up for visiting the Fenwicks. A few additional pence finally buy him a willing candidate. Who are you kidding, Holmes? Those blue bloods wouldn't talk to the likes of us. don't think they would. They wouldn't. Of course not. Ooh, right. So we're not really getting anything else, are we? We're not getting any more info that we already know. Check out Holmes's files and learn about the people on the list. If you so choose, you may visit these people and learn more about them and see if there are any clues to be found. But I've done that. I mean, the Fenwicks didn't really have much to say, did they? Merrill Fenwick is president of the Bank of England. He was originally employed there by Clarence Clement, the bank's former president. Do we have Clarence Clement? We do not. Cannot go and see him. Bank of England. Do we have the Bank of England? We do. Ah, right. Established in 1694, the Bank of England is the only financial institute in the city with the legal authority to issue paper money. In 1834, they moved to their current building located in Threadneedle Street. Okay, well, let's go to semi-regulars. On their way to the bank, Holmes reminds the boys that they should deposit their tuppence at the financial institution. We thought about what you said, but decided to put the money to good use and spent it on a few pints. Did you not get any information? Although it is late, a quick carriage ride takes Holmes and Watson to the bank.
It appears that they've just left. There are fresh footsteps retreating from the front door.
But look, Holmes, there are also some coming towards the door.
Terribly observant, Watson. However, the prints you are looking at belong to us.
I wanted to solve this case. I'm not solving anything. All right. Well, I'm going back for my hints because everything that he's telling us we've already done. The newspapers certainly contain a great deal of information. One of your regulars is the foreign news editor of the Times. Certainly, he must have some insight. I've done all of this. I literally have done all of this. Right. The foreign news editor of the Times. Let's go back to him. Foreign news editor of the Times. Which was this guy, I believe? No, not him. Okay. Is it Henry Ellis? Foreign news editor, yeah. Holmes sends the regulars to see Ellis. He normally doesn't mind talking with them regardless of their lowly position in London society. Ellis was too busy to see the likes of us today, but maybe he'll see you. So we've already spoken to him, so yeah. I'm not having much luck with this. Don't spend a lot of time trying to pin down the suspects until you have talked with anyone who knew the men. Perhaps a visit to a place where the men worked or taught is in order to find out who might hold a grudge. Again, we've done that. Check the newspapers. Herman Ramsay was listed as the captain of the ship where Weatherby was murdered. Might he know? I've done all of this. I've done it all. Oh my goodness. I've literally done it all. And it's telling me I haven't. I'll go to the judge again.
Hear ye, hear ye. The Queen's Court now stands in order.
Okay.
Hear ye, hear ye. The Queen's Court now stands in order. Mr. Holmes, I understand you've been looking into the mummy murders.
Yes, my lord.
Tell me then, who was Ebenezer Turnbull's murderer?
I want to say it was Travis. Travis Phillip. Why did Travis
kill... what makes you so certain? What was Travis' motive for killing Turnbull?
Right, so Travis felt that the tomb of Catabet should be left undisturbed. Turnbull refused to honour Travis's press credentials, barring him from the excavation site, thus jeopardising Travis's job. Turnbull publicly lambasted Travis for questioning the doctor's credentials because of their mutual interest in Clarissa Weatherby. No, I think that's a red herring. Maybe? Why did Travis kill Ebenezer Turnbull? Travis felt the tomb of Cutterbet should be left undisturbed.
Terribly sorry, gentlemen. That is not at all correct.
Bugger. Ah, balls. All right, Al, we're going to go back.
Hear ye.
Yeah.
Mr. Holmes, I understand you've been looking into the mummy murders.
I'm going to find out.
And what makes you so certain? What was Travis' motive for killing Turnbull?
Turnbull publicly lambasted Travis for questioning the doctor's credentials.
And what of Andrew Weatherby?
Oh, okay,
Who
right.
murdered him?
Who murdered Andrew Weatherby? Was it? I'm going to say it was Rubaru. Anthony Rubaru. Ah, poo.
Terribly sorry, gentlemen. That is not at all correct.
Damn it. Let's try again. Let's try again. Right.
Mr. Holmes, I understand you've been looking into the mummy murders.
So it was Travis.
Yes, my lord.
Tell me then.
And then it was
And
Turnbull,
what makes you so certain?
Publicly.
What was Travis' motive for killing Turnbull?
Right, okay.
And what of Andrew Weatherby? Who murdered him?
Right, who murdered him? Do you know what? I've been concentrating so much on. I didn't think who killed Weatherby? Like it's not a Rubaru then. A Rubaru wasn't the murderer. Could it be Luther Tenney? Did Luther Tenney do it? Nope. Nope, didn't do it. Didn't do it. All right, we'll do it again. We'll do it again.
Mr. Holmes, I understand you've been looking into the mummy murder.
Yeah.
What makes you so certain?
Right, who killed him?
And what of Andrew Weatherby? Who murdered him?
Was it Fammy? Akram Farmy? No. Okay,
Hear ye.
I want to solve this before I finish.
Mr. Holmes, I understand you've been looking into the mummy murders.
Travis Phillip.
Yes, my lord.
And what makes you so certain?
Okay.
And what of Andrew Weatherby? Who murdered him?
So who was on the ship? Was it Ramsey? Ramsey maybe? Did Ramsey do it? Herman Ramsey, did he murder him? No. This is...
Hear ye.
I'm seriously just guessing now.
Mr. Holmes, I understand you've been looking into the mummy murders.
Yes, my lord.
Tell me then, and what makes you so certain?
I didn't do this very properly.
And what of Andrew Weatherby? Who murdered him?
Ah, God. Because the only names we've got: Turnbull, Weatherby, Windybank, Rubaru, Ramsey, Tenney, Fammy, Travis. Was it Travis? Did Travis do that one? So I'm going to go with Travis again. Okay, yeah, we are, right.
You say Travis killed Turnbull and Weatherby?
Yes, I believe he did, my lord.
Weatherby scoffed at Travis's mystical beliefs.
What was his motive to kill Weatherby, Mr.
The Times was planning to replace Travis with Weatherby as the new Egyptian correspondent. While they were students, Weatherby's Egyptology dissertation was published while Travis's was rejected. Travis was angry that Weatherby was chosen for the expedition instead of himself. Oh, okay.
Ah, revenge. The oldest motive in the book.
And then Travis Phillips again.
Now, Mr. Holmes, who killed James Windibank? This Travis seems to be quite a busy fellow.
Windibank had failed
What
Travis
made him
in one
kill
of his
James
classes.
Windibank?
Windibank did not choose him for the expedition. Windibank ridiculed Travis's pursuit of ancient mysticism as an experiment in the resurrection of the dead. Maybe that one. Answer that one.
Well, you've done an admirable job in resolving this mystery. I'd say you're on a par with just about any other armchair detective out there. I would suggest, however, that you rethink this case again, thereby improving your sleuthing skills.
Most friendly directors. Well, I talked to Mr. Holmes about the old mummy business. As far as clue points go, here's how you did. You can listen to how he did, or try again and see if you can do better. Holmes's score 35. Your score 520. Holmes's solution.
Well, Watson, I believe this case is solved. And for your information, it was not the mummy.
Come, Holmes. I never thought for a moment it was the mummy.
Of course not, Watson. However, the murderer and the mummy did have one thing in common.
What's that?
They both were the only ones present at the time of the murders, except, of course, the victims.
You state the obvious, Holmes.
Ah, but it is seeing the obvious that is important. First, I saw no reason to assume that we were dealing with more than one murderer. Secondly, the locations of the murders limited the number of suspects.
Limited them? The first murder was in Egypt, the second on ship in the middle of the sea, and the third in London. You call the entire populations of London and Egypt a limited number of suspects?
No, Watson. We had to find someone who was in Egypt for the first murder, on the ship for the second, and in London for the third.
Oh, but of course.
According to the newspapers, the Eastern Empress was in Bombay at the time of Ebenezer Turnbull's murder, so that eliminated the ship's crew as suspects. Thus, I needed the list of passengers who boarded the ship at Cairo. It was our visit to Jardine, Mason and Company that provided our first critical clue. From it, I learned that Philip Travis was a passenger. I then learned that Travis was the chap who reported on the first murder. He became one suspect, but I had no motive. Clarissa Weatherby, who was also at the scene of the murder in Cairo, was another possible suspect, since she appears to have had a bit of a dalliance with Mr. Uruburu there on the high seas. So I had found her motive for the murder of Weatherby, but not a motive for the murder of the others.
Then whom did you eliminate?
Mrs. Weatherby. Her hands were not strong enough even to open a jar of English toffee, let alone strangle a grown man.
And what of Travis's motive?
It seems that Travis was a student in the Egyptology department at London University and had studied under James Windibank. He wanted very badly to be chosen as a member of the expedition, but Windibank turned him down. Instead, Weatherby was chosen and Travis was furious. So there you have the motive for two of the murders.
And what of his motive for the murder of Turnbull?
Evidently, Travis had written a vicious article questioning Dr. Turnbull's credentials to lead the expedition. Turnbull's response was quite harsh, probably powerful enough to drive an odd duck like Travis to murder.
Very impressive, Holmes.
Murder.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
Well, there we are. That was fun. Well, there we go. There's my score, 520. I'm great. I'm a detective. Oh, that was terrible. That was terrible. But I enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed it too. Yeah, that was good. I thoroughly enjoyed playing that. I have got I have got another 2 to play at the moment. I will be getting the next one, the last one, that's on the Steam at a later date. So, you know, there's that. But if you have enjoyed watching this, please like and subscribe on my YouTube channel. Twiki didn't click it. And yeah, this is probably something I will do most Saturdays. I think we'll just do a Sherlock Holmes on a Saturday, a Sherlock Saturday, something like that. I don't know, call it that. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed myself today. This is a really good game. These are good games. I think my memories of them are very rose tinted because I played them as a kid, so to me they were like really great, but now I'm like, they're not as good as I remember. But yeah, I enjoyed that, and I hope you did too. But yeah, let me know in the comments if what your memories of these games are, because I'd be interested to know. But yeah, please look out for more of this. There will be another one next week. I'm not sure which one we're going to do next week, but we'll do another one. But yeah, until then, I want to thank you all for watching, and I shall see you all for another Sherlock Holmes adventure next Saturday. And I will see you all again on Monday, same time, 5 AM, when we return to Siberia 3. Oh, that'll be exciting. So yes, there's Siberia 3 on Monday. So until then, thank you all for watching. I shall see you all on Monday. Ta-ta!